Most people build their agencies backwards. They focus on getting clients first, and they only later try to figure out how to actually remove themselves from the business. But if you actually want to automate an agency, there's a very specific way you need to structure it from day one. So what I'm going to do here is walk you through the exact step-by-step process I would follow, as well as the one I did personally follow to fully automate an SMMA starting from zero. But there's another interesting part here, which is that I automated my agency with only 3 hires, 3 core people. That's it. So I'm going to tell you exactly what those hires were. You can see them here. I'm going to kind of explain the roles and how they work. As well as how I set everything up, because you don't need a 10-person team to run a 7-figure agency if you structure it properly. And this can save you a lot of headaches. Now, first, I'm going to walk you through the core step-by-step automation path that is kind of fundamentally correct, if you will. That works for most agencies, pretty much everybody. Then I'm going to share with you how I personally think about this, as well as, again, those 3 hires I used to automate my own agency, and how to apply this to your own unique situation. So the first part here is the core automation path, right? So if you're starting from zero, the goal is to remove yourself from the lowest leverage task first, whether you're starting from zero, whether you're doing 3K a month, whatever. So the first piece, generally speaking, comes out as the lead scraping, the list building, the outreach, because most people are doing outreach. If you're only doing ads, honestly, you're a pretty rare case. Because unless you're doing like 20, 30K a month plus or 10, whatever. But generally speaking, in the beginning, people start with outreach. It's oftentimes higher ROI. So lead scraping, list building, prospect research. This is pretty time consuming in the beginning. Oftentimes it results in you spending 2 to 3 hours a day just to get the ball rolling, to just be doing a couple $1,000 a month. So it's very repetitive, it's time consuming. It's also a pretty low skill requirement compared to all the different things within the business. So your job shouldn't be just generating leads all day long and spending 7 hours a day generating leads, because then you have to call them, then you have to take the sales calls, then you have to do the delivery. Like you physically can't do everything yourself. So starting with outreach is usually the first thing that gets automated, because it helps you generate some revenue. It is a revenue producing activity, but it's very easily automated. Usually it's the first system that people have built that works, and it makes the most sense to start outsourcing this first for the most part. The next thing is admin support and fulfillment support. So what this really looks like is people who do client onboarding, setting up Go high level accounts or whatever software you use, setting up ads, email marketing. It could be taking actual client calls and doing support, handling support via email, this sort of stuff. Now, oftentimes what I recommend is gradually transitioning somebody, kind of bringing them on and having them bring things up to speed. But if you're already doing, like I hired my operator person to handle all of this, the admin, the fulfillment, everything. But I hired him after I was already doing $75,000 a month. And so I just gave him basically everything, because there was so much to do. And more importantly, I had systems for everything. I had processes. I knew how everything worked really well. So it was pretty easy to actually train him on everything. But the next piece here is the reason for this, is admin work. It tends to kill your energy, kill momentum, and it's a lower dollar per hour task. You want to be building systems beneath you and then hiring people to facilitate those systems and then moving up to build the next thing, right? And usually figuring out fulfillment, especially if you're in a productized kind of agency, usually that's relatively easy to do, or it's one of the earlier things you figure out. Like usually the first thing people figure out is how to generate leads, because you can't have clients, you can't even have free trial clients if you don't know how to generate leads. So that's usually why that comes first, that side of automating. Then again, support and fulfillment tends to come next, because oftentimes if you don't feel very good about your fulfillment, you're not very confident, that negatively impacts your sales. So again, this is generally speaking what I tend to see makes the most sense across a bunch of different clients I've worked with, as well as what I did myself. And I'm going to get to caveats and ways that you can kind of play around with this and not necessarily follow this textbook path. I'm going to get into that kind of in the second part of the video. But again, you want to solve the admin and the delivery bottlenecks next. This way, you're removing yourself as an operator, and you're getting into more of a manager position for these roles, and you're focusing still on the appointment setting and sales because those are higher dollar per hour tasks. Now, what happens when you are getting too many leads? You scale up your outreach. Now, you can have a VA just do the outreach in the beginning if you want to. So maybe there's a fourth person, but if you have an operator, they can do the outreach and the admin and the fulfillment support. And oftentimes this is just a VA in the beginning that can do all of it. So it can still be a VA. It doesn't have to be, some person you're paying $60,000 a year. And you can, and in my opinion, should start them off part-time and ramp them up gradually as you build trust and as the workload increases. Because, why would you be paying somebody a fixed salary if you only have 7 hours a week for them to work? Why would you pay them for 40? So the next piece is appointment setting. So you're scaling your lead gen, and now you're too busy. You're making hours and hours a day of appointment setting calls, and you still have to manage client refunds and maybe some of the bigger parts of the delivery unless you've handed all of that off to your operator. Outreach has gone up. You have to take the sales calls too, and you have to still manage this person, this operator person. In my case, I hired my operator far too late, so I was doing everything all at once, and it was very, very hectic. I needed to kind of like panic hire an appointment setter. But the next one, generally speaking, is to hire an appointment setter or an SDR, or whatever you want to call it, to call your positive replies, to call your leads from your ads or from your outreach, and to book sales calls in with you. This way, you're increasing call volume without increasing your time spent on generating the leads or booking the appointments, right? So there's another system built where you can now focus on building the sales process, right? So we're starting at the top of the funnel. So we're starting with the outreach, this kind of thing, and we're going down to the bottom of the funnel in our automation process. Although the fulfillment side tends to get figured out earlier on, although, it kind of depends. Sometimes that can take a little while too. It's very situational. That's why there's a second part to this video that I'm going to get into in a bit. But it kind of depends. That's why there's this second part of the video that I'm going to get into now. How do you navigate this? Because everybody's situation is unique, right? Where are you currently at in your agency? What do things look like? Everybody has their own unique contexts and situations here. So, what would I do? What would I do today? There are a couple things that I want to touch on here. Because that's the typical path. But if I were to start an SMMA again today from zero, I would approach it a little bit differently because everybody has strengths, and your automation strategy in part depends on what drains you. So it's like skills and things that hold you back. So the parts of the business that drain your energy, I do believe, usually should be some of the first ones that you remove. That's where my personal take on this kind of changes, because this is a lot of what I was conventionally taught and had experienced as well. But I haven't historically been a big sales lover person. Happy to do it, but I don't love the repetitive nature of it. So if I were to restart today, I would build a sales team much, much earlier, to the likes of maybe closing a deal or two myself, or even zero with other things I've started in the past, and getting a sales team going from day one. I have the skill set for it. I understand how sales works, how sales management works, as well as how to build and prove offers from scratch. But sales is ultimately the biggest bottleneck in any business. You need revenue, right? You need leads, you need appointments, you need revenue. Otherwise, you don't have a business. Scaling requires call volume, and doing everything alone becomes overwhelming, right? Especially if you do what I initially did my first time around, which was hiring a little bit too late on the setter and on the operator, and was still doing sales myself. So I was handling however many clients at a time, like 25, something like that, and doing everything. And that was a little bit not so ideal. So the three hires have been on screen this whole time. It's a setter, a closer, and an operator. And with the right structure, 3 people can run a surprisingly large agency, like 100K a month kind of thing. So again, you don't need a 10-person team to run a 7-figure agency if the structure is correct. If you're running a productized style agency, if you're doing highly custom work, that's where this these numbers can bleed, and you can, actually slip into having a 6-person team, for example, to run an agency of the same size, or maybe even 8 or 9 people. Again, it really depends on the nature of your business. There are so many different variables at hand here. But an important warning: if you outsource something you've never done yourself, there's a risk to that, because you don't know how to do it. When you don't know how to do it, it's harder to know if the person you hired knows what they're doing, right? So there's risk in that. If you hire a closer and you don't know how to close, the only way to know if they're good at closing or not is, are they closing deals, right? But even then, is your offer good enough? Do you know if your offer is good enough? These kinds of things. But on top of that, if you have one person, you have one salesperson, right? And they're actually doing a good job, and you don't know how to sell, what if they leave, right? There's no process that you have, right? Your process is actually going and finding another person and restarting this entire thing from scratch. So you can't step in as a backup in your business to take over when somebody leaves. And that's why it can be very helpful to follow this kind of like fundamentally correct or sound path of building an agency, because you know how everything in the business works. You've built it from the ground up yourself. So you can still, again, start with people part-time, have them help you build systems and document everything and learn from them, and that can really help you if you're doing this, but just make sure you de-risk the process for yourself. But one of the key takeaways here is that automation isn't about just like hiring 1 million people and like having a really big team. It's about removing yourself from the right bottlenecks, from the right problems, the right areas of the business in the right order for you, right? You may absolutely like love sales and like despise service delivery, for example, right? You may want to stay on setting and closing a little bit longer and like hire like a full-time operator that you can just like pump with clients. So play to your strengths and play to the things that drain you. Keep all this in mind, right? Listen to your body, feel your way through to an extent. But yeah, so if I were to restart from zero today, I would be building full teams. I would be hiring somebody for fulfillment, I would be hiring somebody for sales, and I would be more managing the marketing and growth side of things, as well as the offer creation, the management, really like more of the big picture stuff, and having people manage beneath me the higher volume tasks that I simply can't handle myself, due to the fact that when I'm starting businesses now, I'm starting them from a higher scale, right? Like if I start a business, I'm still starting from zero as anybody else, anybody else in the world would be also starting from zero. But my like low end baseline is a lot harder than somebody who's never, a lot higher than somebody who's never built an agency before. So I would be starting off by building teams from day one. But that is it for this one.